Hello everyone, real quick message before today's episode. I did something a little bit different and I want you guys to help me here. For the last 20-ish minutes of this video, I went off about my generation and what we're living through at middle age, you know, and what's expected of us. And, you know, buying little things like this for dopamine hits and being called out as materialists, even though we're so anti-capitalist at this point. Living through late-stage capitalism has turned us into kind of ravenous material creatures, I guess. Basically, we've been dogpiled by every generation, from the silent generation, boomers, Gen X, even the ones that come after us, Alpha, Z. Everybody has dogpiled millennials. So I basically share my opinions, share my thoughts on it, tell you what it's like growing up in an analog age and then turning, into a new century and growing up in a digital age. And I think it's a conversation we need to have. I think a lot of people my age stress about this and struggle with this, and I don't think we voice our opinions enough on this because we're constantly being told to shut up and called snowflakes and everything else. But I think it's time we stand up, say something, and make our voices heard. So if you wouldn't mind, I know that not a lot of people are going to watch every video I put out. They're lengthy, they're long form, long plays they call them. In the Let's Play community, and I put out so much stuff it's physically impossible for anybody to watch everything I make. Trust me, I get it. But the ending of today's episode in particular is very important to me. It's very important that you watch, comment. You can share videos that are on YouTube by clicking the little box that says share it, this timestamp. So I'd highly recommend doing that. Let's get the video out there. Let's get a discussion going with other millennials. And let's put our foot down with all these other generations who won't quit finger wagging at us. Because, yeah, everything that's going on in the world right now, my little dopamine hit right here, this is what's wrong with society, according to them. So, yeah. Be sure to check that conversation out at the end of today's episode. It's very important. Alrighty, let's get this episode started. Welcome back, everybody. We are on Cycling Road today. Fun for us. Gonna be a lot of trainers with poison type Pokemon ready to ruin our entire career. Okay, we'll start with a tract. I'm much more awake than I was the other day. I had a rough episode of Pokémon FireRed the other day. Very rough. I think I was trying to do too many streams every day and trying to do too much. I've slowed down, taken stock of the situation, and things are better now. So we're good. The update for Pokemon Home went live day before yesterday, or yesterday, depending on where you live in the world or which time zone you're in. It added compatibility with Legend ZA, so I was able to bring over a handful of Pokemon that were missing in my living decks. Now, I did put out a video this morning, and I mean in the wee hours of the morning, like pre-dawn hours. I stayed up late working on it. It's a Pokemon Home update. If you watch that video, it'll show you basically all the Pokemon that I have now in my collection. It's worth checking out. Worth checking out that video. Take that, my champ. Or my chap, brother. Cue ball. Cue ball got me. Hyper push. Bye 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 bye. 28, 28, 28, 28, 32, 30. How are all my Pokemon 28? How did that come about? For my beard. It's all swashed to one side. Let's do, well, 2 Dragon Rage are gonna, just doing Wagon Rage? Dragon Rage twice takes them out. You know what? I'm gonna switch to Pidgeotto. Good old Pidgeotto. The Mankster. We have Aerial Ace and Fly, and we don't need both. Might have to replace Aerial Ace. I got more bird seed for my bird feeder. That's not what I'm looking at, but I just remembered. But I'm asleep all day. I've gotten back to waking up at 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Tell me why fixing my sleep after 2 decades of sleeping all day is the hardest thing in the world. I'm trying real hard to fix my sleep. It's rough, man. Real rough. I feel like I got way more done when I'm up during the day. I'm pretty sure most people will say, well, no, duh, but I don't know. Something about the nighttime is, I never understood growing up why I preferred nights over days. I mean, I just assumed it had a lot to do with being antisocial and not wanting to be around people. There's no way I could have known back then how accurate that was until I learned about ADHD behaviors and how ADHD people prefer nights because you can avoid people and avoid stress. It allows you to calm down, think, operate, and just kind of exist without constantly having to worry about being on for people or distracted with 1,800 tasks throughout the day. So nighttime can be kind of a really relaxing, reassuring time of day for people that have that. Why didn't I just use another Dragon Rage? Because he's like a gonna explode. Smoke. Another Wheezy. All right, we'll go back to the Pokemon Center when we take out these bikers. There's a lot of bikers on this route, but not as many as are crammed in this top section here. Why? Why, you jerk? You joik. You poisoned McGarados. How dare you? Here we go. You can finally get rid of Twister that does nothing. Slam is a pretty good attack. If Pikachu and Raichu have taught us anything. I'm gonna stick with Gyarados. She's poisoned though. Where's that antidote? Son of a bitch. You know what? You know what? You know what? You know who you can't poison? Vileplume. Oh. You can't affect my accuracy though. Damn. My beard is lopsided. I need to... I'll work on that later tonight. I just noticed it. Wonder how Giga Drain will do. Not a ton, but better than nothing. Better than nothing. Let's try cut. Well, might take a hot minute to get done, but you know what? Can't poison me. Wheezing. You know what? Bring a Charmeleon out here. Metal Claw just never does anything. And we're poisoned. Lovely. Hang in there, buddy. I know it's slow going, but we got this. Hey! He's poisoned. I mean, he's burned. Hit for tat. Neck is a little stiff. Ba-da-ba-da-bow. Good ball. The Mankster. Okay. I'm just gonna blow you away with Dragon Rage and get it over with. Ah, well, slam it is. I kind of forgot we learned slam a minute ago. My long-term memory and short-term memories are fried. Completely fried. You know what? It'll ruin your whole day. No, I didn't mean to do that. All because I pressed the wrong button. I think maybe switch. For some reason, he's really strong. Jiminy. Cue ball. I think that's everybody. I hated that as a kid. You get right up to the front counter and so faints from poison. Evil. Evil. I do wish they kept that mechanic though. Here we go. Let me switch out Teeny Dra for Oja Pidgey. Fight these Mohawks over here. Now wait, your overworld sprite had pink mohawk, but now you're bald? Make that make sense. Oversight. Smack out of Rooney Toonies. My beautiful bird Pokemon. Oh my god. Somebody evolved their Machop all the way up. That's impressive since you have to trade Machoke to evolve it. This guy figured it out. Yeah, if you hold the B button, you put on your brakes. But if you don't hold any buttons, your guy goes down the trail automatically because it's downhill. You can go back uphill, but it's really slow and difficult. Come on, explode. Oh, I was hoping they'd be cheeky enough to use self-destruct. No. I don't think they're going to. Tackle? It's pretty random. You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Cut just doesn't do as much. Well, unless you get a critical hit. But that goes for any attack, honestly. Wheezing. This is the kind of route to where I have to go back and heal after every battle or every few battles. I guess my neighbors are having a shindig. I guess it is Good Friday. It's the Friday before Easter, so a lot of people are probably gonna do something. For me, it's just another ordinary Friday because I don't subscribe to religious bullshit. Doop boo doop boop boop boo doop boo doop boo doop boop 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 boop. Okay, now see, that biker actually has a mohawk. Oh my god. A Firo! Get him, Teeny Dra. I guess we can start seeing more evolved Pokemon in the wild now. Something Dragon Rage might actually come in handy for because it's guaranteed not to knock them out. You know what? You're getting a Great Ball. I don't know where I got this from. Its huge and magnificent wings can keep it aloft in the sky. It can remain flying a whole day without landing. Beep bop boop boop beep beep bop beep beep bop. Another one. I was thinking we probably should try and catch as many Pokemon as we can since this is like supposed to be a anniversary celebration kind of dealio that we're doing here. Escape. What do you mean can't escape? Doduo! You're getting the same treatment. A Thunder Wave and a Dragon Rage. Your rage isn't dragoned. Ah, crap. I didn't mean to do that. You know our rule on this show? Always read the dex entries. Alright, go back and find Doduo. Should be around here somewhere. There you are. Crap, my face cam's in the way. There we go. A two-headed Pokemon that was discovered as a sudden mutation. It runs at a pace of over 60 miles per hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers. All right, Baldy. What you got? Mankey? Manky Mank? All right. Maybe if I sit, I mentioned this the other day, but I'm always falling asleep over here at my desk. Maybe it has something to do with the reclined nature. I'm sitting back in my chair. I've got my feet propped up, my legs crossed at my ankles. I love this chair to death, but I have been thinking about maybe it's time to invest in a new chair or something. I don't know. I don't know. Beep boop bop, beep bop boop 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 beep. I never take this necklace off, by the way. This thing is on me at all times. My T-Rex skull. I sleep with this necklace on. I shower with this necklace on. It never leaves my body. I've been thinking about ordering a backup just in case I lose this one at some point in the future, because I want to wear this for the rest of my life. And it's funny because I never wore necklaces. I'm not a big fan of jewelry. I don't do rings. I don't do watches. As a matter of fact, I can't stand something on my wrist. Not a big jewelry guy. But a buddy of mine used to always wear a necklace. And it kind of got me into wearing necklaces because I had a little bit of interest in necklaces. But, being a teenager in the 90s and in the late 90s through the early 2000s, my experience with necklaces with men was usually those what do they call them, puka shells and the shark's tooth, very cliched, very dude bro necklaces. And when I thought necklace, I always thought more like women's. I didn't really, I don't know. And then I got I had this Skyrim charm. I want to say it was originally a keychain or something. I gave it to Tyler as a gift, and he's worn that thing for almost a decade. And I decided I needed something too, And I do think about this charm around my neck. It does keep me grounded. It does help me in times of need. I'll remember who I am and where I came from and where I'm going and what I want to, achieve. And I know that might sound silly. I don't know. It helps ground me a little bit. As silly as that might sound. So you guys know I do worry and stress a lot. Voltorb. Right, we need to switch out Dratini like in the actual roster here, because it's going out first at every battle. You trying to light me up with electricity? How dare you? Yeah, use Sonic Boom. Don't use the electricity, please. Can I fly yet? Okay, cool. We did get Erica's badge, right? Cool. This is Fuchsia, Sabrina, Blaine, Vermilion. Or Viridian. Okay. Let's move Dratini. Oh, Pidgeotto was out front. That's right. We did move Dratini. It's just Pidgeotto was fainted. Whoops. I guess it's a good thing I came back over here and healed then, huh? This guy pisses me off. He is in the middle of the road. Do you know how many thousands of times over the years I've been riding through here in a hurry or trying to hatch eggs? And there he is, fuckface, just taking up all the middle of the street with this fat ass. I hate it. It's about as bad as the roaming NPCs who always walk where you're trying to go. I'll stab him. Let's get the stabby. Okay. So this route we're going to have to tackle twice because we're not going to be able to battle every... Cycling Road has 3 paths. We'll have to come back and do all 3 just to get everybody. So that's what we'll work on today. Try and finish up Cycling Road all in one go. Get a pitch. I still don't know how you're supposed to be able to toss a bird. That makes no sense to me. Be a rebel! I'll try to as much as possible. To the skis! Oh no, he went first. What is with these guys being faster than my bird Pokemon? That's... Something seems off with that. Yeah, I need to trim this up. You son of a fuck! What is with them knocking out my Pidgeotto? I have the type advantage here. Oh, I better have some revives left. Oh, you motherfuckers. You fathermuckers. You want to play fighting? I'll show you some fighting. You took out my bird. You asshat. Hold on a minute. Flamethrower. Soda. I need to heal and do some shopping. Can't believe we ran out of revives. That's crazy. Sometimes I wonder what the anime would have been like if they didn't rely so heavily on Ash and Team Rocket all the time for every episode and every plot device. Because I was just thinking about the cycling rogue part of the original Indigo League anime. And they gave Jesse and James a whole backstory about being bikers in a gang. I don't know. You know, just... Oh, that's going to eat up all my money if I try to buy TMs. But yeah, the anime did that a lot. There was a huge disconnect between what the games were and what the anime was. And, I don't know. I guess I kind of preferred that special that they did. Oh, I forgot what it was called. It used the FireRed and Leaf Green version of Red here, instead of the original 90s version of Red. And the Pokemon didn't say their names, and it showed them actually fighting. And when Blue went into Cerulean Cave and came up against Mewtwo, he was almost killed. Like, it shows him in the hospital bed, all bandaged up with broken arms and stuff. And I think I prefer that more realistic approach to Pokemon than the cutesy, pootsy, fartsy, wartsy, like, watered down version that we got over the years that's safe for kids and safe for marketing. Because the reality of this world, you know, it's going to be more than the marketing that we get for Pokemon. And of course, I don't want Pokemon to be uber realistic to where it's like blood, guts, and gore all over the place, but some acknowledgement from time to time that it's not a perfect utopian society. I like that. I guess the anime in its own way had to do something a little bit different because it's an RPG. The games are. So how exactly would you carry a show where your protagonist is just battling trainers all day, every day and traveling? You know what I mean? I guess you do have to kind of spice it up and tell stories. That much I understand. I guess I can get on board with that. Still, though, a lot of times it was a little too goofy. Too much Team Rocket, too. Like, here's the thing. I like Team Rocket, but I think they were way overused. They relied way too heavily on Team Rocket. I think they could have easily done, you know, story of the week episodes without having to always include Team Rocket. In some rewatches over the years, I will actually skip their segments of the show. Like I have fast forwarded through their whole speech, them getting blown up and flung away. Like, you can tell that it really... Because, like, here's the thing. Over the years, they got better at using Team Rocket, but that first season was really rough. The first 2 or 3 seasons, actually. Because here you are, doing a Story of the Week episode. Ash and Misty and Brock have entered a village. They've encountered a Pokemon. The Pokemon has a problem. You find the trainer the Pokemon belongs to. The trainer was either not aware of the problem or causes the problem. The episode unfolds. The main cast goes to solve the problem. Here comes Team Rocket out of nowhere. Ooh, we're going to capture Pikachu. Try to steal Pikachu. Plans are foiled. blasting off again, return to the episode, finish solving the problem of the week. Everybody goes home happy, go lucky, hunky dory, and Ash and gang walk off into the sunset. It was so formulaic at one point that it just became too cumbersome to watch. Like, why did Team Rocket have to insert themselves in every single episode? Like, I'm asking from a writer's point of view. Now that I'm looking back as an adult with some hindsight, Team Rocket wasn't really necessary in every episode. You could have gotten away with showing them maybe every 4 or 5 episodes at best. But the heavy use of them, it just wasn't necessary. Like I said, we're going to try and cover all of Victory Road, all of Cycling Road today. So we're going to heal up and go back down one of the paths we didn't take. But don't take me, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I like Team Rocket. They were so goofy. They never really posed any actual threat. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, they were overused severely. Did I battle this one? I battle you, sir? Oh, I did not. Because of Team Rocket and because of the way the anime worked, they skipped entire segments of the map, only dedicating one single episode to an entire route or area. So like Cycling Road, I think just had that one episode, that one segment. And then because they had to censor some things, the entire Safari Zone got cut. So for, those of us watching in America, Ash just one day suddenly had a ton of Tauros. We didn't understand. I remember being really confused as a kid because I didn't have the internet to tell me, hey, this episode got canceled and removed from the rotation. It didn't end up getting localized or shown here in the States, yada, yada. This day and age, if something like that happens, I'm going to know about it because, I'm going to see it on social media. I'm going to see it in the news. In the 90s, I had no way of knowing when something like that happened. So it was very disjointed and confusing. And it would be one thing if it were a random episode that got yoinked where Ash didn't make any progress, but catching like 30 Tauros is a pretty big deal, given how hard they are to catch in the game, and given the fact that Ash never catches a damn thing, unless they really want to progress the story a little bit. Because here's the thing, Ash is not a good Pokemon trainer. We love Ash for the nostalgia, but in all actuality, Ash is like one of the most terrible trainers of all time. How the hell he became world champion at the end of the anime is beyond me. And of course, the anime had only intended to run for 1 year. They just wanted to run it to coincide with the game, help promote the game, maybe help raise the game sales. But when Pokemon's kind of unexpectedly blew up and became a global phenomenon, they kept the anime going. And they did it in the worst way possible too. Just rinse and repeat for like 25 years. Because here's the thing, it's one thing when The Simpsons don't age, because that's like a satire kind of adult cartoon, but Ash really should have aged. You missed out on a whole wealth of opportunity not having him grow. You could have had him growing, catching Pokemon, and evolving his Pokemon as he grew up in the show. But they didn't do that. They really fucked up. Really screwed the pooch on that one. Okay, maybe Vileplume's not the best Pokemon for this job. maybe we switch out. If he's going to start using Minimize, I'm going to need something that can't miss. Lace. Not sludge. Shake it off, Pidgeotto. We'll get you a bath once this is over. Pidgeotto's close to evolving. So we'll have Pidgeotto and Charizard soon. Or Pidgeot. My brain, she does not work exactly too well. Pokemon is, it's an interesting phenomenon that I don't think you're going to be able to repeat anytime soon. Because at this point, one of the, the anime helps sell the games and helps sells the plushies and merchandise. The games help push the anime and push the merchandise. The merchandise helps viewership of the anime and sells the games. It's a feedback loop where all of the different angles feed back into one another and promote one another. And it becomes like a juggernaut under capitalism, and especially here in late stage capitalism. Like, let's see, how do I explain this? So we grew up with Pokemon in the 90s and the early 2000s, and there were different waves of people. Like you onboard with Pokemon at different points. So like me, I'm a Gen 1er. I joined from the very beginning of the franchise, but there are people whose very first Pokemon game might have been Ruby and Sapphire. At that point, you had a whole generation of younger people joining the franchise. And the same could be said about Diamond and Pearl, then Black and White. And then all the way to maybe jump 20 some odd years into the future, Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet. You have young people who are just discovering Pokemon. They're maybe 10 years old, give or take, and they're super into Pokemon. They're buying the trading cards, the plushies, the toys. They're playing the games, and you've created a new generation of people who are dependent, almost like it's a drug. And they're going to be out buying that stuff. But I think now it's a little bit different, because what I think one of the larger selling points for Pokemon this day and age is nostalgia. So somebody say my age, I'm more likely to go out and buy Pokemon cards and plushies and merchandise than say a young person of 20 years old, 10 years old. Because things have certainly changed in the world. We have iPad kids now. Kids grow up with the internet now. They're exposed to way more now than we ever were. Because we had limited choices. You know, we were raised on cable television. So we were into whatever the cable box, you know, and the TV told us to be into. But kids today, Pokemon's not exactly going to be at the top of their radar when they're finding something new to be into. It's probably going to be Five Nights at Freddy or Fortnite or something. Because my nephew was born in 2011, and he never really got into Pokemon. I remember they bought him a copy of Let's Go Pikachu, and he played it a little bit, but he just never really clicked with Pokemon. And so I think a lot of the sales, and I think a lot of what keeps Pokemon, successful and what keeps it profitable are going to be people my age who are strictly still into Pokemon for nostalgia's sake. Now, that's just my opinion. That's my hot take. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. I am often wrong about great many a thing. But it seems to me like that's the most logical truth about this situation, is that with Pokemon, I think that it still sells as much as it does because it sells more to people my age than it does to kids. I think that's how that works. Now, what happens when people my age are trying to focus on retirement and their golden years? Like, all right, we're in our 40s now, so we still got a couple of decades of being in the workforce. So what happens in another 20 years when there's like 2,000 Pokemon, 3,000 Pokemon, and you're trying to sell that many plushies, trading cards, and this, and this, and this, because the trading cards have already reached a boiling point. I watched a video earlier today of an entire group of an entire mob just pushing in those grates that come down on storefronts and malls. They pushed it in and tore it away and went in and started snatching Pokemon cards. The Pokemon card stuff has gotten so out of control that they might eventually have to just start selling them online only, like they do these Labubus. Everybody goes to, what's that website, Pop Mart or whatever it is, and I've seen so many streamers live, and they're like, okay, hold on, I know we're live, but they're going on sale right now. Let me buy mine real quick. I have to imagine that's probably going to be the future of Pokemon cards, because selling them physically in person just isn't working anymore. Of course, when a company sees that, they're like, oh, hell yeah, this equals profits for us. People can't get enough of our shit. But I think Pokemon has, I think it has a shelf life that they're not aware of. Everything dies. And it's going to be very interesting to see where and when Pokemon slows down to where it's just not profitable anymore to run an anime, print trading cards, open Pokemon Center stores. You know what I mean? I would be surprised if Pokemon continued at its current level of popularity well into my 60s or 70s. That would shock me greatly. It really would. Now, you could always have a resurgence. I think we're kind of entering a slight Mario resurgence lately, especially given the Super Mario Galaxy movie apparently is smashing box office records somehow, which I watched that online a few nights ago. It's really good. I really, really liked it. I had a lot of fun watching the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I think it was better than the other Mario movie they did a few years ago. Very safe, very generic story, but still fun to watch. The same for those Sonic movies. But after 3 Sonic movies, those live action Sonic movies, I'm kind of starting to get a little fatigued with them. I'll watch number 4, but I think it might be time to wrap that up. But, yeah, I know it's something that we don't like to think about or talk about, but Rich Evans said this on Red Letter Media one time. Our generation cannot and will not let our childhood die. We can't and we won't. We cling to the past in a way that other generations didn't do. We are an entire generation of man babies who buy toys and figures. And it's just an endless, non-stop collectathon of things and stuff. And we get shit for it all the time. Boomers give us shit for it. Gen Xers give us shit for it. The silent generation, people who are still around, give us shit for it. And it's like, honestly, our only real defense is that we kind of got the short end of the stick as a generation. We entered the job market during, post 9/11 world, and we had to deal with multiple wars, multiple recessions, housing market crashes, more recessions. We had to deal with more wars. Then we had the pandemic. Then after the pandemic, it's just been an onslaught of just living through historical events. You know what I mean? And we're overworked, we're stressed, we're worn out. Our money doesn't go as far. So many people in my generation are swimming in student loan debt that they can't work themselves out of because the cost of living has climbed through recessions, pandemics, wars, rumors of wars. The world that we were promised doesn't exist, and it never existed. So now we're struggling to raise our kids, pay our mortgage, pay our bills, take that vacation that we need because we're stressed the hell out. We're the most overworked and stressed generation that's probably ever been. And we're being told that Social Security will be empty and bankrupt by the time that we're at retirement age. We're told, I don't know how true that is. I've been told that's not how Social Security works. So I've been given conflicting information on that. All I know is that our generation has been through enough fuck shit for a lifetime, for multiple lifetimes. We were raised in an analog age. When we were coming of age, there was no internet, no cell phones, no apps, no Facebook, no fucking TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, streaming. None of that fuck shit existed when we were kids. You picked up a goddamn landline, you called your friend, and you sat there and talked to your friend for hours with that long, stringy ass phone. Or you had a cordless phone and you talked until the battery went dead, or until their mom made them get off the phone. You went to your friend's house on your bike. You played outside at night until the street lights came on or your parents told you to be home. That's the analog world we grew up in that doesn't exist anymore. We didn't have iPads when we grew up. So we went through school to learn things for a world that is no longer applicable. When we were kids, the teachers would always say, you need to learn this. You got to get this. You're not going to have a calculator on you at all times when you graduate. You're not going to have a device that lets you look this stuff up in the future. You're not going to have a calculator or a ruler everywhere you go. You need to remember this whole set of encyclopedias. You're going to want to know this stuff one day. Now, automation and AI is making things exponentially worse while we brace ourselves for irreversible climate change. I watched a video, and it could be fake and AI. Fuck, I don't know. But I was watching a video online yesterday. This little delivery bot pulls up to a crosswalk, and he asks the human standing there to push the button. And the guy flips out on the little robot and says, you took a human job. I ain't fucking doing shit for you. So, gas prices are out of control. An extreme pedophile narcissist is in charge of the country. The Middle East is being bombed into oblivion. Ocean levels are rising. Tons of species are disappearing at an exponential rate off the planet. We are speed running to the end of all of this. Yet, me buying this plushie, me having this Pikachu, yeah, that's a real problem. I need to grow up. You know what I mean? Me buying stuff for the tiny little hits of dopamine that I need to get me through my day, that's a problem apparently. Not all the stuff I just spent the last 20 minutes mentioning. No, this is what's wrong with my generation. This is what's wrong with the world. Eric, buying this little T-Rex Jurassic World keychain Easter plushie thing from Walmart for $4 that brings me so much joy and happiness. This is what's wrong with the world. This is what's wrong with my generation according to other generations. Have you ever noticed that people who know the least and deserve to speak the least speak the most, scream the loudest? I'm going to continue to buy this shit. I'm going to continue to play Pokemon. I'm going to continue to live my life the way that I've been living my life. And if boomers don't like it, and Gen Z don't like it, and Xers don't like it, and Alphas don't like it, and the silent generationers that are in their 80s and 90s somehow still clinging to life don't like it, you can all kiss the fattest part of my ass. I have struggled for so long now. I've worried about, should I have this Pokemon figure on my desk? What are people going to say if they enter my home and see this dinosaur shelf back here? Are they going to mock me? Are they going to tell me to grow up and act my age? I stress about this constantly. Am I doing enough to give back to society? Is simply doing this show enough? Do I need to go out and get like a 16-hour-a-day job and stress myself into the ground? I worry and stress about this stuff constantly while living in a world that is just absolutely bullshit on fire. But no, buying this is what's wrong with the world. Like these fuckers that are like, oh, trans people are what's going to end society and it's what's wrong with the world. And drag shows are trying to indoctrinate your kids. No, they're not. Nobody's trying to indoctrinate your kids. Drag shows are fine and harmless, fun. Just... oh, wait, I think I got... oh, yeah, I got another one. But anyway... I don't think Pokemon will be as successful in 30 years as it is now, because my generation will be on its way out in another, 30, 40 years. We'll be 70, 80 years old and on our way out the door. And at that point, I don't think Pokemon will still be as relevant as it is today. Now, with all of that being said, I feel that it was extremely relevant to have that conversation during our anniversary playthrough of this game. I've also been meaning to say all that on my channel in general, but I think it's very relevant to us playing this. So that's what I have to say for today. Climb all the way up on my fucking high horse. Somebody had to say it. Somebody had to say it. All right, well, we've made it to Fuchsia. We have a gym to fight, TMs and HMs to go after, Pokemon to catch, a Safari Zone to do. So much work to do. I hope you guys enjoyed Cycling Road. I hope you enjoyed my entire rant and rave today. If you're my age and you're worried about buying that little plushie, or hell, maybe you're not a video game or a nerd, Maybe you're worried about buying that ATV or buying that boat or buying that car. Whatever it is that brings you happiness. If you're worried about buying that new fishing rod, that fucking hunting rifle, if you're a redneck, whatever it might happen to fucking be. If you're my age and you've put in your time and you have the disposable income and you want to buy yourself a dopamine hit, just do it. The world is about to end. Take the dopamine hits, the serotonin's hits where you can. Do what you can to be happy in a world that doesn't think you deserve to be. See you, folks.